How do you find better ideas faster? That seems kind of simple, but actually it's not about the idea, it's about finding a better idea. And that is the ethos that has driven me, my career, and it has certainly become something that Trent Hunter spends a lot of time working on with a lot of different clients. And the core of that, the jewel nugget there, is a belief that you have more paths of opportunity than you think, that you have additional levels you could be playing at. Maybe it's a new product, a new service, or just a different way of doing things. But the simplicity is you have more ideas in you that could take you to the next level. Now, a common objection that I sometimes hear that many of you run into is somebody somewhere, maybe it's a leader at one of your companies, will say, we don't need new ideas right now. What we need right now is execution. We're in execution mode. If we were in a live situation, I'd ask, how many of you have heard that objection before? And in most rooms, a lot of hands would go up. When I see that objection, I think you're wrong. You're wrong, especially in a time of chaos, if you believe it's about the execution and not actually finding better ideas. My example would be Nokia. They had the idea of the phone. They were working pretty hard on executing it. Well, BlackBerry, Palm, Motorola, they all had the idea and they worked on it and they tried executing it. But then someone else came in with an idea that was just a little bit different, just a little bit better. And as soon as that happened, all of the incumbents, the billionaires, the CEOs, the strategists said, well, the new brand on the block, they're not going to figure it out. Because look at that Steve Jobs guy saying things like, what do you do at Apple? We make buttons on the screen look so good you'll want to lick them. That's just not how people at BlackBerry talked, and that didn't sound like a company that could possibly solve the business market. They couldn't manage, from the perception of the competitors, the incumbents, to figure it out, to actually execute. At Motorola, they said there's nothing revolutionary about this. We've been doing everything they've been doing for a much longer time. The billionaire CEO from Palm said the PC company is just not going to figure this out. They believed, by the way, for context, that they wouldn't figure out the distribution agreements with companies like Verizon. They wouldn't figure out how to get more bandwidth. They just wouldn't figure it out because it's not possible. In fact, the billionaire Steve Ballmer from Microsoft said there's simply no chance. In Nokia, which had 1 billion customers, 1 billion customers, had a strategist that said with Mac, Apple remained a niche. Expect the same in mobile phones. Now, I was having a little fun on this one. Anssi Van Joki, I saw that last name and I wanted to see if he puts the joke in Van Joki, and he does. I found all sorts of other quotes, so random tangent. But he also said switching to Android would be like peeing your pants for warmth in the winter. Another classic Anssi Van Joki classic. But getting us back on track, at BlackBerry, a little closer to my home in Toronto, one of the two co-founder billionaires noted that with all of Apple's ads, customers are now coming to the store, but what's actually happening is they're leaving with the BlackBerry. And so what Apple's actually done is it's increased our sales, which is true, except for math. Now, what's interesting in this is that Apple came along with an idea that was actually the same idea, but it was a little bit different. It was a little bit better. And because of that, they didn't need to focus on execution. They just focused on having a better idea. New ideas are subtle, and successful people miss out. Successful people so often miss out on that subtle nuance that made the new idea better. All of these superstar brands thought that execution mattered, but actually it didn't by comparison, because all Apple needed to do was figure out something that was so exciting that people wanted to lick the buttons on their screen. And by coming in from that consumer angle, pretty soon that's what people wanted to do. What we're going to talk about today entirely relates to this premise. It's different from our last module on opportunity hunting. Opportunity hunting is finding the niche. People want a smartphone. People would like something that combines multiple utilities in one device. That's the opportunity. Adaptive innovation is different. Adaptive innovation is about persistently refining the idea again and again and again and again until you come up with that idea that's just a little bit better, but better by little can actually cause you to change the world. A lot of what we're going to get at roots to this concept that many of you have seen in some of my other pieces of work, that the secret to remarkable success is a combination of overlooked opportunity and also the hard work. And in that little nexus, that sweet spot is when you push harder and harder and you actually find that breakthrough idea. So we're going to talk today about how you can be more adaptive with your innovation in 4 ways. We're going to talk about a couple warnings. We're going to talk about methodology, portfolio, and then finally, I'm going to walk you through a few case studies of innovation, giving you several different workshops that you could employ and some of the best practices that I've learned from running about 1,000 workshops, and my team has refined even more by running a similar number to myself.